Sorry, for those that are watching, I was laughing at that little intro then. 200 messages racking up out of nowhere. We haven't quite had 200 messages, John, but plenty of interaction with the mailbag for those getting involved with this week's Villa fan zone ahead of Spurs. How are you, John? Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Dan. Looking forward to club football returning this weekend, and then it's back into Europe in midweek. City Liverpool after that. So yeah, games coming thick and fast before the next international break in November. But yeah, lots of football to be played there, and I don't know. I'm not too sure how I'm feeling about the next few weeks, but to be fair, I think a lot of how I will be feeling about the games to come will mainly be defined on what we do at Tottenham, because I think
I think so.
I feel like it's a decent little opportunity. We'll get into it, but I'm not worried about that game. I'm not scared about going to Tottenham and playing them. But we'll get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to those who are joining us live on 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. We wanted to, if you're new to the show, this was previously our preview that we do after the press conference. And it would pretty much just be what Emery said and how we feel about the game. We wanted to switch the agenda to be how do fans feel about it and get that conversation started earlier. Hence why we're live on a Thursday for a game that is on a Sunday. But lots to talk about, and we kind of feel like the international break's over now and club football is back. So hello to Scott, who says up the Villa in the chat. Zach says hello, lads. 19 reading 87 says having a beer, watching you boys. Happy days. Stephen up the Villa from Albuquerque. Nice. The only reference I know of Albuquerque is that Breaking Bad was set there. I know absolutely nothing else about that place. And Jake and Michael say good evening as well. We're going to dive straight into this, John. Each topic that I've brought out from the mailbag have a little header. Do you want to pick one and we'll go through them?
Okay, let's start with streaky Spurs.
Streaky Spurs. This is from Dara, who says, I'm feeling relatively confident ahead of the Spurs game. While we have a mixed record against them, Emery has tended to get the better of Thomas Frank. His Brentford teams are always quite streaky and never consistent. I think his Spurs team will be the same. What have you made of Spurs so far this season? I think better than people anticipated, maybe?
Results better than performances, I think, is how I would describe it. So, I think they've overperformed in some areas. I was listening to a few things even before the international break about how, precisely that kind of underlying numbers aren't quite what you'd expect from a team who are third. But it is so early in the season that I don't think they'll really be worrying that much. And ultimately, it's a new manager, right, joining Tottenham, and therefore they should be able to improve, and if they are in third at the moment, then okay, but at the same time, Frank is still new to the big club management, should we say. He was at Brentford obviously for so long. I'm going to quickly read, trying to find a stat here. I think, has Emery ever lost to Frank? I don't think he has.
I don't think he has. I think I've seen something similar recently. I'm
going to try and find it. Oh, where is it? Tottenham's Thomas Frank has never beaten Emery's Villa in the Premier League in 5 attempts, so drawn twice, lost 3. It's the most he's faced an opposition manager in the competition without ever winning. So he hasn't beaten Emery, which is a good thing, I guess. It's going to be an interesting game.
Does it matter, John?
Possibly. I'd like to think it does, because that is obviously favouring us. And another stat that I wanted to pull out that I thought was quite interesting. Tottenham have scored 13 goals from an expected goals tally of only 7.5 in the league this season, which is the biggest overperformance of any team. So that's 5.5 more goals than expected, basically. And their shot conversion rate of 17% is second to only Man City. So that shows that they do have, obviously, quality. We knew that already. But at the same time, at some stage, you'd have thought that kind of plateaus a little bit. And their numbers would, not necessarily mean that they're going to finish third this season. I think that'd be an incredible season for them anyway. But they just about got a point against Wolves, for example, at home before the break. They went to Leeds and won, which is obviously a good result, but newly promoted team. They've had some decent results, of course, but I don't fear going to Tottenham. You look at the table and you say, well, if Villa were to lose the match, there would be a gap between us and Spurs. That is a bit of a worry, of course, but at the same time, again, you look at that and think, oh, they must be really good then. But I don't know. I just feel like we can go there and do a job. But
I agree.
That's on us, really, I think.
It's more so about how we perform in that test rather than what they do, I think, even though it's at their place. Matt in the comments says, what a great time to start. I've just started it, cooking my tea. Does John eat pork belly? Do you eat pork belly, John? I feel like a John Townley thing, that, I reckon.
I don't know if we should open a bit of a keto diet discussion here, Dan. Yeah, I bought pork belly.
Do we want to do that? Do we really want to open ourselves up for that? I don't think we do.
No, I don't think we do. However, let's just say I did it. I bought it the other day and cooked it the other day, and yeah, it's all right. It's not something. Yeah, like, I prefer just pork loin, to be fair, and I will eat the fat on that. But yeah, pork belly is a bit. I don't know, maybe a bit too
intense for you.
A little bit. I prefer something else, but
okay.
yeah, I've had a lot of pork in the last few days.
Okay, enough food for now. I'm sure it will come up again.
Yeah.
I like Matt's usage of tea as well. The correct word for this kind of
what was
evening
that?
meal. Tea. It's not dinner.
Yeah, dinner. Dinner for me. Dinner's lunch. Not breakfast. What's the word? Yeah, tea, dinner. They're all dinner. Food on a plate.
Give me another header, please, John. Let's rattle through some of these comments, please.
Give you another header, sure.
We've done about an hour for this show recently, and we kind of want to keep it a little bit less.
Yeah, I want to go tighter. Making a statement.
Making a statement. This is from Rich. I can feel a statement performance and result coming. A 3-1 win, maybe, and everything looking really good. I really like that. Just everything looking good. I'll take that. I fancy Rodgers to get off the mark and an unusual scorer too. For example, Powell or Dean. I love the specificity of that prediction. Why not? Why not go that far and predict Powell or Dean to score? Why not? Yeah, not loads to say about that. This is obviously very different to our Q&A, where we would now speak for 5 minutes and answer the question. But just a prediction from Rich, and absolutely please do that. Get involved with the show and share your thoughts. I think 3-1's probably a bit more optimistic than I will be. But I agree. We absolutely could do that.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, this just feels like a game, and I always think about after the match, how do I think I will feel when I do my little walk and talk afterwards? I don't know why that's where I go with this, but it's because it's something I always do. Anyway, and I did think a couple of days ago, like, it'd be nice to do a walk and talk, knowing that we've just claimed like a big away win. I don't feel like Feyenoord felt like that, but in a different kind of way, because I don't want to kind of play down that win, but we are a better team than Feyenoord. We have a better squad. We pay big wages. We have a better manager. All of those different things. But Tottenham is very different. Tottenham is a team who most people think will finish above Villa this season. Some people would argue have a better squad. All of those different things. So going to that team, be it Tottenham or Chelsea or Newcastle, I don't know, going there and winning a game always feels a whole lot better, and the confidence that would give us as well would be huge. And yeah, I have those feelings about this match as well, but that isn't to say that if we lose, I'm going to be devastated. I'm going to throw my toys out the pram and think that, we're back to where we were. Forget that we've won 4 games in a row. I'm not going to feel like that. Obviously, the performance will go some way to, how do you feel after the game? Well, okay, the result is the result, but also the performance. If we can put in a good performance, that would either limit, and this sounds obvious, but it would limit how I would feel in a bad way if we were to lose. But then if you get a draw, there's, quite a lot of positives you can take from that. So I think as long as we put in a solid performance, then we've got certainly a chance of at least during the game. As I say, I just think Tottenham, maybe some people are getting a little bit carried away with potentially, but I get it because they've made a better start to the season than us to Newcastle, other teams as well, Chelsea, I presume as well. So yeah, they deserve some credit, but at the same time, I don't think we're fearing going there. And I back Emery to put out a game plan as well. And what's interesting is that Frank's Spurs, that's Thomas Frank. That's a Thomas Frank team. They're not playing totally in a totally different way to how Brentford played under Frank as well. And if we had their number, then you'd like to think that we can devise a game plan again to beat a team who plays similar to that Brentford side, albeit with better players.
Yeah, there's a few comments in the live chat asking about system and personnel, and we will pick an 11 towards the end of the show still. Tombo says that cactus looks dangerous. It is quite spiky, and I don't really like it. I'm going to change it for something else. It doesn't even look that good, to be honest. Give me another topic, John, please.
Let's go for a genuine love.
A genuine love. Oh, I like this one from HD. Does Unai Emery love Aston Villa? We all love him and the club, but does he see this as just a job or a project, or does he have an actual love for the club? Or maybe when he leaves, brackets, hopefully not for a while, he can have a genuine love for Villa without thinking at it as a job when he's no longer with us. I don't know. It's hard to say, isn't it? Does any manager genuinely love the club they're managing? It's hard to say, isn't it? I've got no idea. Some maybe have a stronger affinity than others. I'm thinking like more managers that have been in place for longer. Like, would Jurgen Klopp have loved Liverpool? Yeah, probably. Does Ruben Amorim love Manchester United? Probably not.
So, yeah, I'd like to think so. I think the question is essentially, will Emery be a fan of Aston Villa when he leaves? I think that's kind of it. I'd like to think that his support staff would all be fans of Aston Villa moving forward as well, because I don't want to say whatever happens from here, you know, but we can't get around it. To qualify for Europe was one thing, and then to do it again through the Champions League, and then finish in Europe again, and then have this European campaign that we're hopefully going to have that's going to be memorable. So much has happened under his stewardship that I think it's very difficult for him to go and go again without loving the club. And Emery, to be fair, loving the project that he's doing at Villa probably means that he loves the club, if that makes sense. I don't think he can take on that project without having some sort of affinity or passion for what he's doing. Not only what he's doing, but where he's doing it and how he's doing it. So I think that's something else as well. Like, you see like Monchi, for example, he's already admitted, and it was kind of plainly obvious when he said that he wanted to leave. Villa allowed him to leave. Okay, well, he's probably just not sick of living in Birmingham. I'm sure he enjoyed it, but going back to Spain, better climate, all those different things. He's not from here. It's something that I think we'd all just say, okay, fair enough. Like, you're going back home, that's okay. Like, it is what it is. If you don't feel like you can give everything that you once had now, then fair enough. It's time to go. Emery obviously didn't feel like that, and he would have gone in the summer, I'm sure, if that's how he felt, or next summer if that's how he feels, because you need 100%. He needs to give his all for this, right? This is something that we mentioned when Monchi left, and there was a big kind of, I don't know, reaction in terms of, well, is Unai, what does this mean for the project with Unai? Like, what's going to happen from here on in? And we were asking questions. Well, I'm happy for Unai to be here as long as possible, as long as he feels that enthusiasm, and he feels the love, and he feels the passion for the club and what he's doing. So for that reason, considering we just brought in Alabe, and Emery signed a very lucrative long-term contract. Sorry, obviously quite recently as well after the end of the season. So yeah, I'm sure he loves the club. I just don't think he'd be able to do what he does at the intensity as well in the Premier League, European football, everything that's going on with the transfer window and the players. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah,
but he needs full. He needs to be fully bought into what we're doing, and definitely looks that way.
Yeah. Okay. Next, please.
Yes. Scrolling down. Let's go with making sense of Maatsen.
Making sense of Maatsen. This is from Yaroslav. What's your notion of when and why Maatsen starts? I just can't work out Emery's tactics. Palace, Brentford in the Cup, Bologna and Feyenoord. I used to think that he would start him when Emery needed pace or width. But now I'm thinking he's just a cup player after the Palace defeat. Any better knowledge your end?
No,
I
think no, I think it's more. It's difficult. I was writing something similar earlier, actually, where for a game, it's quite hard to quantify. But I think we all know that if Villa have, let's say, an important football match, another they are all important. But Tottenham, for example, I don't think anyone would be surprised to see Dean start. I think we'd all be more surprised if Maatsen started. So I think it's just a thing where Emery just feels more confident in matches that maybe have more on them, shall I say, or maybe more to lose, potentially, is the way to say it. He would play Dean. I want to see Maatsen have a run in the side, but at the same time, Dean is still having a decent season. He's created lots of chances. He's got one assist, but I mean, if it was up to his teammates, they'd probably have more. In the French team, did he get an assist for France? I think in the match he played in midweek. I'm pretty sure he did. So the guy's playing probably at his best level still, and for that reason, we have two very strong left backs. But how you get Maatsen in there kind of long term, maybe that's for the second half of the season or something. But then we've said this before, right? We said when he first joined, maybe this will take him a few months to get bedded in. He did, and showed a few signs towards the end of the season. I think that he was, getting somewhere after a bit of a shaky start. And then this season, again, hasn't quite kicked on, I don't think. But that's not really his fault. It's more that Dean is just the preferred option still for Emery, at least. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. But I don't kind of put that down as like an issue. I think, if you've got a right back that's actually a centre back like Konsa, and you had a player who is like Maatsen but was at right back, but you're choosing Konsa ahead of him, that all of a sudden becomes a problem for me, because that's like the dynamic of the team. And I know Maatsen gives you something that Dean doesn't, but equally Dean gives you something that Maatsen doesn't, and they're both strong in different areas. So I'm happy for whatever Emery wants, but don't get me wrong, I would like to see Maatsen have an extended run, because we haven't seen what he can do with 4 games under his belt, like in a row. It's always in the team, impresses, out the team, and then that's the cycle, really.
Do you think that when it gets a little bit busier over the coming weeks, that we've just had from a podcast perspective, quite a quiet international break, really only doing 4 episodes instead of 7 or whatever. There's going to be a lot of games coming up over the next few weeks before the other break, and then a lot of games after that in the Christmas period, as everyone knows. Is that the time where you maybe see more of the likes of Maatsen stepping in for a run, and then Dean comes and has a run, and vice versa, rather than game in, game out? Yeah,
possibly so. And a lot in football can change so quickly that I remember literally a couple of weeks ago, or 3, I remember saying to someone, I just don't see where Beauregard gets his opportunity to step into this team. Because if it's at centre-back, Konsa is almost always available, touchwood. And if not, maybe Lindelof would play. In midfield, you've got, even with Tielemans out, Onana would be coming back. You have Barkley coming back. You have McGinn, who dropped in there in the double pivot. And it just felt like, if Beauregard isn't going to get his chance now, when is he going to get his chance? And all of a sudden, he steps up in one game, and then another, and then a third against Burnley, his second league start in a row. And you think, oh, okay, like, he's taking his chance. And that's almost what I feel like Maatsen may have to do, like, wait for an opportunity, because that opportunity hasn't really came yet. I mean, Dean, I think, was he injured for a little period last season, but a small period.
A couple of games, I think.
I'm obviously not wishing injury on any of our players, of course, but opportunity will knock at some stage. He has to take it and prove why you can't now drop me. So I don't know if this is going to be a question later on, but the Beauregard and Onana situation is really interesting for me this weekend. Who plays, or is it both? I don't know, with Kamara, So yeah, something to discuss maybe later on if there isn't a question on it.
Well, there is, John, and it's a couple down on the document that we both share. So if you want to go and find that one, we can do that now, as soon as you brought it up.
Couple down
from...
Probably
my favourite header of the lot.
What's going on here? Do you bring... Oh my God, I've butchered that.
I'll do it. You bring him straight back in, John? All right, with Onana fit, does he come straight back in for Beauregard? Yes, Beauregard's done well, but Onana being more experienced in bigger games, doesn't it make sense to bring him back in? We may not be comparing apples to apples here, and it much depends on the system, as Beauregard dropped into a back 3. Onana wouldn't do that, so it means Kamara would have to instead. But all things being equal, formation-wise, who are you choosing, asks Russell. Amadou, would you bring him straight back in, John?
Yeah,
I don't.
No, people won't like that. I don't think. Yeah, I would.
I don't think Onana starts.
If you put a gun to my head and say, "Who would you start?" No, who would I start? I think I would.
Yeah. What would that midfield look like then? Onana and Kamara. Because I don't think Tielemans isn't available, is he? So it will be those.
No. It's Kamara. Forward. No, I'm just trying to think on the fly. I think. You know what? This depends on if you want Marlon to play in the same position as he did against Burnley. / if Ollie Watkins is even going to be fit.
Yeah.
So, what? Right, hear me out. So, Onana, I think, can still play. I've said this so many times. I'm going to go over it now. I think we can utilize him more. So, what I would do is I would play Kamara and Beauregard and Onana, right? And I would still have Rodgers and maybe McGinn too. And then Marlon or Watkins, depending on if Watkins is fit. That's how I would play it. And I know it sounds horrible because Marlon, of course, has just come off the back of scoring 2 goals. But I also understand, okay, so Marlon could still play that position. These are just ideas in my head, right? I'm not saying I would do one or the either. Marlon could play that central role. Rodgers left, McGinn right, Watkins. And then your 2 would be obviously Kamara and then one of Onana or Beauregard. But I would just sway with Onana simply because he is back to fitness now. He's played twice for Belgium. He played 65, nearly 70 minutes or so, I think, in the game they played against Wales. I just can't. Again, Tottenham away, it's a difficult match. Beauregard's had a great couple of matches at home. Well, he's played well all season, don't get me wrong, but particularly at home, Fulham and Burnley, fantastic, done well. But that was also in a shape which I'm not sure we're going to play against Tottenham. Are we going to play Bogard dropping into a back three? I don't know. I'm not sure we will. I just like to see Onana's size and dominance in that midfield, and hopefully he can give that. Don't get me wrong, if it's not working, bring Bogard on to give us more security. But I'm just going to be honest and say that I think I'd rather have Onana in there. If you can fit him, Bogard and Kamara, then great. But at the same time, you've obviously got Marlon too. But yeah, this is why we have a big squad. You need dilemmas and
yeah. I mean, it kind of shows how. I was about to say we then, but I can only speak for myself here. Shows how little faith I have, particularly in Onana so far. That we're talking about Villa's record £50 million signing of do we bring him back in or
and
not?
You're not sure. Yeah, no,
he should
I get
absolutely be. He should be in there. Of course, he should. We've had a lot of money for him, and he's got good attributes, but hasn't really shown it. Can't stay fit. Blah blah. The things we always talk about. Kamara and Onana or McGinn or Bogard. There's some kind of combination there that should work. But it's again dependent on the opponent. But the fact that I'm even kind of questioning, can Onana do that job? Should he be in that position? I mean,
I think
it should be without doubt.
You've even got McGinn who can play in the double pivot as he's done very well. And then I've Gesson on the right side, who again out of possession's been really good. So there's different options here. Oh my god! Sorry, I dropped my phone.
What are you doing?
So I dropped my phone. I'm fiddling. I hate to break it to you. You don't like that about me at all.
That sounds so personal. In the podcast world, yeah, you do what you want in your own time. It'd be annoying, wouldn't it, if I kept messing with my mic all the time?
Yeah, I don't fiddle in my own time. Yeah,
good to hear, John. Thanks for that.
I just think for me, I'd like to see Onana, but I understand why people will say no. You don't know what you're talking about. We have to play Bogard. Look how well he's played. I get it. It's just an opinion.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to another one then, please, John.
Sure.
Fiddle away.
Odd. Avoiding humiliation.
Okay. Last season, McGinn said, after we got humiliated away at Spurs, that the atmosphere at the stadium really impacted Villa, which is slightly concerning, as Spurs were booed off at half-time in that game. We tend to have one good win or one humiliation versus Spurs per season. Let's hope this is the good one. From Hamas Titzelsberger.
And then we're going to get humiliated. We're going to get humiliated later in the season at home then.
Yeah, me and Kendrick are actually going to this game. We've somehow blagged hospitality tickets, which may lead to some in-person videos coming from the shiny Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this weekend.
Or two drunk idiots running on. Wait, you probably can't get to the pitch from up there, to be fair.
No, I don't think so. All right, mate. I don't know what the atmosphere is like. Is it good? What was it like last year? I don't really remember.
Put it this way. I understand what McGinn was saying, because Tottenham under Ange at points, I say at points because I know how poor they were last season, but just in general terms, and of course they did this to us at Villa Park. When they smell blood, they can go for your throat, and they really did against us. And when the crowd were with it, as you would be if your team goes 2-1 up and then 3-1 up. I think Maddison put in a free kick, which made it 4-1, I think. But I understood what he was saying. I think that game, we got it wrong. Did Cash come off? I think, and then we conceded moments after. I believe that was the case. I think he got an injury, and then we changed something around, and then we conceded the second goal, and the third one went in because the crowd was up, and we weren't coping with it on the pitch, in the atmosphere. But then more so, it was just the structure of the team fell to pieces, and I don't know if it was communication or whatever it was. It wasn't a good 10 minutes. Just in our season in general, that was one of the poorer 10 minutes we've had away against Spurs. So I'd like to think that doesn't happen again. There was different reasons for it. When McGinn says, "Oh, the crowd are up," he didn't literally mean, "Oh, we caved in because it was loud." There was different reasons for it. But yeah, like the Spurs stadium, I mean, it's got basically everything you need. So of course it's going to hold in the atmosphere when it gets going. That's the point. When it gets going, Villa equalised, didn't they? I think towards the end of the first half, was it, with Morgan Rogers, I believe, as the corner comes in. They didn't deal with it, and he hit in from close range. Don't remember it being particularly loud then, but it will be like most atmospheres away from home. Like Feyenoord was incredibly loud as well. Yeah. Like it's when you go away from home, apart from when you're at some stadiums. Bournemouth, for example.
I know you were thinking Bournemouth.
Go on, let's be honest. Yeah, those places aren't intimidating, but yeah, Spurs can be, I guess.
Speaking of intimidating, Sonny in the comments is a Tottenham fan, and he and other Villa
Oh,
fans
no.
have been chatting for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes about Matty Cash and
You'll behave,
Bentancur.
Sonny.
I hope Watkins isn't fit coming from a Spurs fan. Going to be a tough game for both teams. Let's hope we edge it and Matty Cash gets injured. And then proceeded to have a various amount of comments that Matty Cash has ruined Rodrigo Bentancur's career and he's not any good anymore because of that.
Did he ruin Doherty's career as well? Or was Doherty just not
terrible injury? And, you know, when Bentancur was out for the season, was it for Matty Cash when it was,
listen, we know
games or something?
Yeah, we're not condoning
2
that,
years ago.
We wouldn't condone, but at the same time, Matty Cash has not gone in for that tackle to try and end someone's career.
And he hasn't anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't.
No, but I mean, he hasn't ended his career.
Yeah.
If he's not very good anymore, that's not Matty Cash's fault, is it?
I presume that's what Tottenham fans are alluding to. Like, he hasn't recovered since that injury, but Matty Cash obviously hasn't.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just saying Matty Cash has clearly not tried to injure a professional footballer and make him worse, wherever it may be. It's ridiculous.
That's like if Ollie Watkins doesn't score many goals this season and us blaming it on the post at Wembley. Well, if he never recovered from that bruise he got on his leg, and now he's a terrible player. It's ruined him. He should never play for England again. It's football. Yeah. There's bound to be little skirmishes here and there where you get into scrapes with other players. That's not the reason for a downfall 2 years later. And the idea that the Tottenham players during that game can now enact some kind of revenge on Matty Cash when we've already played them about 4 times since that game and nothing ever happens. Come on.
Yeah.
Let it go, mate. Let it go.
There's players that that we feel the same way about, should we say? There's one in particular. I don't know if legally can I talk like this? I don't know, so I'm not going to. But there's certainly.
What are you about to say?
Surely you know the player I'm talking about. And he's got a track record for it. And I don't know if I can go down this.
QT.
I can't say it. No, not Cutie. No.
Most intimidating little centre back of all time, little cutie in his little puffer jacket.
No. Can we go through a couple of actually no, I don't know if we can. Cutie. Yeah. Anyway, move on.
Okay, move on. Give me a different one then, please, John. Let's wrap this show up. We got about 3 left, and then we'll do some predicted 11 and some predictions.
Okay, can the Spurs fan in the comments just say why they call Kulusevski the nickname that he's got? I genuinely don't know why. Can I quickly search it, actually?
We spoke about this before, didn't we? And I think we cut it out of the episode.
No. Decky. Why is he called Decky? In every press conference, because last season I'm sad. I watch every Ange press conference just to, it's funny when he gets angry. And he always called him Decky. And I'm like, oh, God, just call him Dejan. Or, D, I don't know. Decky. Come on.
Well, we won't go into this because we will maybe slip up. But there was another player we spoke about. Is that
Yeah, but I think that was okay because I think in fact it was Bentancur, but I think it's after. Was it his daughter? I think it was his daughter. Or was it a younger brother? Sorry, I've got that wrong. His younger brother. Yeah, it was his younger brother. Sorry, called him Lolo. So they kind of carry on with that.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean daughter. Brother, not daughter. Anyway.
I'll get another one going. Change a winning team as opposed to don't change a winning team from Matt. I feel previous Villa managers would always go with the mantra don't change a winning team. However, I don't see Unai picking Watkins and Marlon up top again away at Tottenham. Now, first of all, a caveat in why this show is different to what we used to do is we would wait for the press conference and we would have some information on Ollie Watkins. However, we don't at the moment. I suspect Emery will say if he trains on Saturday, he'll be in contention to play Sunday. And that'll be it. And we will still be guessing, which is why we're doing this show now and not waiting until Friday night for that line.
Yeah.
I think Watkins will be fit, is my gut reaction. I think he's got a knock and there's no point travelling to wherever we played for England the other night in a qualifier where we're going to be qualifying for the Champions League then, for the World Cup. Why risk it? Why aggravate it? Send him back to Villa. No love lost. Let's all move on with our lives. I don't see that keeping him out of this game against Tottenham. I also agree with Matt that I don't think we'll play the Marlon second striker system again. Although I would like to see it, I don't think we'll see it away at Tottenham.
Yeah. And I can understand why, if he doesn't. like I get it because it's a completely different game to playing Burnley at home.
Mm.
But then I would want to see it more consistently throughout the season. Whoever that, I don't know. Because then you go, okay, what's the next home game? It's Man City. Will it work against Man City? I haven't looked at that game. I haven't thought about it yet, so I'm not going to kind of just say, yeah, do it against City. But actually, it might not be the right thing to do. But Unai will know. But I can feel that there's, if he doesn't start Marlon with Watkins, if that's even if he's allowed to do that, and we don't win the game, then of course that would be the focus already. It'll be, well, why didn't you just start Marlon? Because that's what worked against Burnley, but what works against one team doesn't always work against another. However, I would say that I think a lot of what we saw between Marlon and Watkins, that should work against most defences. I'd like to think anyway, because you have Watkins pulling defenders away, Rodgers creating space for Marlon because two players are usually marking him, and if they're not, okay, will it free up Rodgers a little bit? So there's danger there for the opponent, whereas before it just felt like we were quite stale. But then again, Tottenham away, what do we want to do? Do we want to shore up a little bit or go for it? And that will go one of two ways, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Well, should we do a predicted 11 now? Should we try and run through a team?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a sip of your drink, mate. Go on. It's a relaxed environment here on a Thursday night.
We're going to kick off.
Martinez in goal. Big, bold Matty Cash on the rampage at right back.
Matt Cash isn't big and bold, but
no, but to Tottenham fans, he is this big scary monster that ruins all their players. He'll play. Ezri Konsa, and I would like Pau Torres in there.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be Dean, although again I would like Matson. But I understand that as a back four. I'll tell you, I think this is the team that I'll predict rather than what I think we'll do. What Emery will do, sorry. I would have Bogard and Kamara as the two. I'd have Gesson on the right. McGinn kind of in the 10-ish, part of a midfield three, whatever.
Yeah.
Rodgers left, Watkins up front. Is to be a bit more solid for McGinn to go both ways, be a bit of a busybody for Gesson to help defensively.
So no Marlon and Onana on the bench as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I think that's one variation.
It's not an exciting team, but it's a team that is probably a little bit more resolute for Spurs' attacking threat, but still gives us something the other way.
Yeah, and I'd argue that's maybe, possibly anyway, a team where you'd say these players have played with each other the most this season. Is that right? For example, if you brought Onana in, even though I say I want him to play, or I'd like him to play, I understand that as well. Well, he started 2 games, right? Newcastle, and then he came off against Brentford quite early. So although he has a relationship with Kamara, that shouldn't be a problem per se. It's obviously, Bogard is the one that's, I guess you'd say, in form and has played minutes for Villa, obviously recently. So yeah, I understand it. Again, I think it's a variation of what, I don't know, 3 or 4 things that we could do for this match. And I am interested to see what Emery puts out, because usually I think with team sheets beforehand, it's, unless it's an injury or something that you're waiting to see if they're going to play, it could be quite predictable, shall I say. So in a way, I think that's probably playing into Villa's hands a little bit, that we could do quite a few different things that Spurs they would probably have to adapt to.
Yeah.
Which again is probably a good thing. You need options. If we know, for example, I'm not actually sure Buendia will be okay to play. I don't know, because obviously a head injury, and I presume he was suffering as a result of it, but with concussion. But for example, if it was okay, well, Buendia probably going to play in your 10, Rodgers left and McGinn right. That's okay. All you got to do is just prepare for those players. But now you have Marlon in the mix. You don't know if Watkins is going to be playing. Maybe Onana can play a bit higher, like he did against Newcastle. Like, there's a few things that Villa can do here. Gesson as well, of course. So Sancho too, like maybe come into the mix. We don't talk about Harvey Elliott a whole lot. You got to forget he plays for us sometimes. Well, I do anyway, because of the limited kind of action he's had. So yeah,
I think we will see more of him in the coming weeks. But again, not for. I was going to say tomorrow. Then it isn't tomorrow. It's Sunday. No,
yeah, I'd be completely shocked if Elliott started against Spurs. I would.
Yeah. Can you give me your 11 then? Because I just want to kind of make a note of who gets closest, basically.
All right. Cash.
These are in goal.
Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Pau, Dean, Kamara.
Yeah.
Rogers left. Watkins 9. McGinn. Oh god, it's a very convoluted way. I really want to get.
Oh yeah, what are you doing
I want to
here?
get. Okay. I want to get Bogard with Kamara, and I still want
Yeah.
Onana in my team. So I'm gonna have
Okay.
Onana further forward, should we say, and then Rogers
Yeah.
left coming inside. Watkins and McGinn out on the right. So I've got Marlon and Gesson on the bench.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think it'll be that. I
No,
think
I don't
Onana-
know. No,
I think Onana
I'm
plays
not.
there.
I'm not predicting what I was going to do. That was more what I would do.
Yeah.
No,
No,
you know
fair
what I would
enough.
do? I would buckle under pressure, and I would definitely start Marlon because I couldn't be bothered to
Yeah.
refresh Twitter and say why has Townley done that? What a pleb!
Right, I want to do one here. I've got is he the best? Instead of Ezri. Is he the best? Is Ezri Konsa Villa's best player? Full stop. Question mark, actually, but best player. I saw a discussion of ex-pros this week saying that he's now nailed on for his spot as England's third choice centre-half, and I started questioning my sanity as I believe he's the best of the lot. I then considered who I'd take over him at Villa, and I honestly think he must now be in the top few in the Premier League. Therefore, possibly Villa's best player. Loving the new bits and pieces from the pod. I actually don't have a name on that one, so let's just say that came from Ezri. There was a comment just from Josh in the live chat who said, where does Konsa rank in all-time Villa centre-backs? And would you class him as a Villa legend? Been outstanding for a long time now and goes unspoken about because of how consistent he is, which I think is spot on. It's difficult, isn't it? Because my immediate reaction to saying, is he a legend? Is like, no, you can't say that. But why not? He's played a hell of a lot of games at a great level for a long period of time, but I think he's still missing that wins a trophy or scores like a really important goal somewhere to go, oh yeah, he was literally responsible for that singular moment. Like McGinn, I feel more comfortable saying he's a legend, despite having a similar number of appearances, and they both lack trophies. But McGinn has been responsible for those goals, like the playoff one and some in Europe and stuff.
Like this kind of goes into a different sort of territory for me, maybe. But I don't know how people quantify Aston Villa legend necessarily, because I'm not trying to tell people that they're wrong or right or whatever. But for me, for example, like I'm just on Premier League appearance makers, Villa players, obviously. Because when I interviewed Konsa last season, back in, I don't know, March or April, I wanted to talk about that. Basically, like, you are, whether you know it or not, you will be or are now like one of the top defenders Villa have had in the Premier League era. And I don't think we kind of talk about that enough, because all of a sudden he's now creeped above 200 Premier League appearances. Is he in the top 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think possibly. Sorry, I need to skip the page to go into the next line. I'm not going to waste time. But he's climbing that table. But then if you look at someone like Olaf Melberg, 232 appearances, do you class him as an Aston Villa legend? Because I don't.
I'd probably sound like a hero.
Yeah, I don't. For me, a legend is someone who wins, wins trophies, makes a pronounced impact on the club. So for me, if John McGinn wins a trophy with Villa, absolutely an Aston Villa legend, like no doubt about it.
I think he probably already is, though, McGinn.
Yeah, but that's why I say absolutely no doubt about it. It just cements it as, there's like unequivocal for me. Konsa, I think, would be in that bracket as well. You'd have to put him in there, right? Going from the Premier League to where we are now and winning a trophy. Tyrone Mings as well, because of how he helped the club into the Premier League via the Championship. So I think there's a chance for a lot of these players to have that status. And we're not saying for 1 minute that winning the Europa League is the same as winning the European Cup. So I'm not going to get in the kind of conversations of, like Sid Cowans is an Aston Villa legend, like without a shadow of a doubt. But at the same time, I'm not going to be comparing and saying, but Konsa, it's kind of night and day. You can't say Konsa's better than Cowan. Like, we're not doing that. It's just, what have you given to the club? When you leave the club, what impact have you had? And Konsa has to be in those conversations, right? The amount of appearances, consistency. Is he Villa's best player? No, not for me, because Kamara is, in my opinion.
I think there's a couple that I would class as being better all-round footballers than Konsa.
Yeah, I understand the question, though, because, you could say a few years ago Martinez was Villa's best player, but he's a goalkeeper. Konsa is definitely in the conversation, though, like, without a doubt. And I think he has been, to be honest. He just doesn't get his plaudits after every game.
Doesn't get his flowers, does he, John?
Unless he blocks, a goal-bound shot off the line like he did against Fulham. We talk about him then, but not for all the other things he does in the game. So, one of Villa's best players, but for me, Kamara is Villa's best player.
Yeah. Okay, couple left then. Do you want to pick one of the final two? Pick the one that isn't the bottom of the list, because that is supposed to be the last one.
Right. Okay. Dismantling the Frank engine.
Dismantling the Frank engine. I've seen a few memes for Thomas, the Frank engine, which I quite like. So we're going to dismantle that train, John.
I don't think I've ever watched Thomas the Frank engine. Have you?
Really?
When you were a kid, some things you don't remember. I presume you don't remember. Is it?
Well, my memory is
like episodes. Do they have episodes of Thomas?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's
not a series.
It's film.
Is it? I don't know.
No, it's a bit like how like Postman Pat's got like a 500 episodes or something. It's like that. They just make them, don't they? They're like 10 minutes long.
They stopped making them now.
They did bring it back, and it was all like animated differently, and it just wasn't the same.
No, okay.
Yeah, they ruined it. Anyway,
yeah.
How did Villa match up against the system Frank is using at Spurs? What attacking lineup do you think makes the most sense? I mean, actually, we've kind of talked about this predicting an 11. That's from Benny.
I think again, we've spoken about most of it already. Sorry, Benny, but it's interesting. I think the question that I would kind of put back as well is: this a game do you go for it or do you be more reserved? And I presume we'd be more reserved to at least start with. That tends to be the theme with Emery. And hell, it's worked. Like again, the points that we've picked up under him, very good. Against Man United away, it didn't work, but there was different reasons why it didn't turn up. But yeah, I'd like to see us go for the game. Of course, I would sitting here, but then when it kicks off, it's hey, like whoa, it's do we want to leave this space open? What's the counter to what we're going to do against Spurs? Are we going to go for it? Yeah, I just think an away game at Tottenham, team who are doing well. Yeah, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we play again. Similar to how we've done at the G-Tech and got results, of course, when Frank was their manager, Brentford manager.
Yeah. Okay. Furious Badger says, my mate's dad created Postman Pat. Fair play. My son loves Postman Pat, so pass on my thanks. Any comments in the live chat I saved? There's a couple of predictions. So if you want to start dropping through your score predictions, we'll get to those in a sec, and I'll read some of those out. To end the show, the final one is For That Reason. I've been noticing John is using the phrase "for that reason" lately. Has he been watching lots of Dragon's Den? Not a criticism. I think you are all wonderful. I don't know. I've not noticed that. It's funny what people pick up on. Like, you say this quite a lot. I've no idea.
No, there's definitely some of the things that I probably say too much, but
I do. I say for that reason. I don't even know if I've ever heard you say that. I don't know. You must have. Is that a bit like filler that you don't know you're saying it because it's to fill a gap kind of thing?
Man, it must be. I presume so.
But for that reason, you would say this.
Yeah, kind of throw me off guard a little bit now. I feel like I want to say it, but I'm not going to. Has he been watching Dragon's Den? No, I haven't. No. What's Dragon's Den like these days? Is that that's the show? That's the chap I saw in Monaco, isn't it?
Yeah, they go to present. I get in
a muddle now because it's either a chap who's on that show or a different one, and I can't work. I get confused. Do you know which one it was?
Yeah. It was Dragon's Den. Is the guy you saw?
Dragon's Den.
It was. Yeah. Present an idea. Can I have some money to invest in this thing, and I'll go and make it into a proper business?
I know what it is. Yeah, I used to watch it. Things change, and you have what's her name? Deborah, and she's doing this with her fingers all the time.
Is she? Don't know. Is he? That's what you
never noticed that.
Maybe she doesn't know she does that.
Oh, she definitely does. She sits there and just does this all the time, like just scratches at her thumbs. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I pick up my fingers quite a lot, to be fair. So everything's a habit, John. I can't believe we've done 45 minutes. But there's absolutely no way that we're ever going to get this show any shorter than this. So deal with it. This is what this show is now. Enjoy it, hopefully. We'll end with a score prediction. A couple of ones in the chat. A couple of 2-0s, actually. That's all I'll say. There's just a few shouts for 2-0. Villa, yeah. Gary said not expecting much, to be fair. Don't know why, but I'd take a draw. Would you take a draw, John?
Did Sonny answer my Decky question, by the way? Would I take a draw?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'll take a draw, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take a draw. That's reasonable. Coming away from Tottenham on Sunday, I wouldn't think the draw is bad. Depending on the context, obviously, as we always say.
I think we went through it before. I think if you offered us 4 points against Spurs away, Liverpool away, and Man City at home. I think you take it. Obviously, that means we have to lose a game, and no one wants to go through that. But 4 points is that's I don't want to say strong return, but it's a good return. Like it's fine. So
yeah.
But you'd like to think that we can get something against Spurs.
Yeah. Okay. Predictions so far: 7 points to me, John, in the predictions league from the first 7 games. You're on 3 points. So I've taken a commanding lead. I got Burnley and Sunderland predictions spot on. I also got a correct point for getting the outcome of Fulham right. You've got no correct scores. You just got the correct outcome of Newcastle, Fulham, and Burnley. So, not great. Doesn't really mean anything, just for fun. What's your score prediction, John? You don't need to write it down. Just let me know.
1-1.
1-1. I think that's a sensible prediction, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Villa victory. Why not? Go down there and win and make a statement like somebody said earlier. Oh, we're adding in goal scorers now, are we?
Just asking.
Matty Cash
on a double. Oh, okay.
We've both gone for the silly answer. I don't know. Ollie Watkins to get one and Rodgers for the other. Let's recreate the England fixture from last week.
Yeah, just to finish, and it's on a bit of a bad note, really, but I can't see that, which isn't ideal when they're your top scorers from last season. Well, just because they haven't really done it, have they? Rodgers hasn't scored a goal this season, has he?
So far, but things changed, don't they?
No, and Rodgers scored for England, and so did Watkins. But do you know what I mean? Though it just feels like you say that, and I think, well, yeah, that would be, we definitely need that. But
yeah,
sorry to leave this on a bit of a negative.
That's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. That's it for this episode of the Villa Fan Zone. Please do keep continuing to leave your feedback. John and I have spoken privately about this, and we feel like this is a better show than the previous preview that we were doing. So we're not going to change it. But if we get lots of feedback to suggest that it is crap, then we'll take that on board.
Keep spamming the mailbag. That's the key to this.
That's the key thing. If you want to get involved, the mailbag is in the link of every single podcast that we do. It says Clout and Blue mailbag, Google form / blah, blah, blah.
Guaranteed to read your comments out. Unless Dan has left one out.
We'll see. Guaranteed. No. Let me just stress, right?
False advertising.
What I will say for the mailbag, it's been set up since the start of the season, and when we answer the questions, I tend to delete them. However, I don't always, and the ones that we don't answer, I'll leave in there. There's a lot of them that'll be like, "Do you think Emi Martinez is going to leave?" Obviously, we're not going to use that now for obvious reasons. But some of the ones, even from August, might still be relevant now if they're like timeless. So I've kept the usable ones still in there. Do you want to have a guess how many entries are in the mailbag as of this evening?
I don't know, 20.
This is genuine. 20.
I don't know. I don't really understand your question, but anyway, go on.
Okay. Since the summer, there is still 403 comments in the mailbag that are unused.
Oh, good one.
A guarantee of you will get your comment read, John, is not going to happen because there's
but for these shows though, like if you leave a specific question for the match against whoever we play next, it'll be read out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's a good chance. I will definitely read it and then decide if it's good enough for the show. So make it good, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just make it relevant. Yeah.
Get involved is
really high bar though. Bloody hell.
You've got to get something to pique my attention to get on the show.
400 people on unrest. Like,
What I'm really doing is, can I think of a stupid little subtitle for that question? And if I can't, I'm scrolling past it because it's not relevant.
Okay. Maybe if you want, leave a stupid little subheading.
Yeah, well. I mean, if you're creating your own headers, you got a great shout of being in here. So we'll be back next week. We'll only do these for the Premier League. So our next one will be for Man City, not Go Ahead Eagles.
Mailbags for the Q&A as well.
Mailbags for the Q&A. Same link in every single podcast that we do. You can send in a question for that for the Q&A, or you can send in a comment, an opinion or a prediction or whatever for each upcoming game. The link is always the same. So thanks everyone for getting involved. Thanks everyone for embracing our changes. We have made a few changes on the podcast from the start of this season. We feel that's been good decisions and we're improving and we think the podcast is really good and blah blah blah. Not to toot our own trumpet too much, but we're enjoying what we do, John, aren't we? So we want to keep it coming, and having that sense of community and stuff is really important. So thanks to everyone who kind of indulges us and gets involved.
Yeah. Sorry, Mate, we're going towards the hour again. And we said
I
earlier this would
know,
never be
I
long.
know. Right, John, thanks for joining me as always. Thanks to everyone for watching along live. If you watched after the fact or listened, get involved in the comments as per as well. We'll be back not now till Sunday for our post-match content, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. You can come back to the Client Blue podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you take it in. And we'll have some post-match content from Spurs. We'll have a Q&A next week, building up to Go Ahead Eagles, and a few little special things along the way as well. So thanks everyone for watching or listening, and we'll see you in a few days. Bye everyone.